Hi everybody, I'm back again with another posing video. This is a request. You might have seen my last one, which was my black suited Spider-Man. I don't do really good poses, I'm not an expert on them, just very simple ones that would look quite good in the cabinet. Somebody asked me if I would do one on the Avengers Black Widow, so here you go. Starting off, I'm going to show you a few poses with the alien rifle. Very simple poses. I might repeat myself throughout the video, so I apologise in advance. So all she's doing here is just casually holding the rifle with her pistol up, maybe ready to shoot, or she's just shot someone. Legs slightly apart. I've got her right leg just slightly forward. Nothing dramatic. If you want to see some really good poses for figures, check out the Clipper Kings channel or Moggy215. They're very good at posing their figures. So as I said, I'll do 2 or 3 poses with the rifle and then move on to the pistols and so on and so on. So hopefully this video will give you some inspiration for how to show your figures. So on to the next. Here we have the next pose. Again, all I've done is just taken the pistol out of her left hand, put it back in her holster, and just move the gun around to rest in her left hand. So it looks like she's strumming a guitar. Great sort of rock star sort of pose. Maybe that's an idea you could do. Pick up a few characters dressed like this in leather especially. Swap out their weapons for guitars and things like that, and have a rock band sort of scenario sort of thing. Just an idea. She wouldn't look out of place in a rock band dressed like this. Again, very simple pose, not changed a lot about it. Sorry about the brightness on this way it's showing up on the skin from what I can see through my lens here. It's quite sunny outside and it's just shining straight onto the figure. I've got one more pose to do with the alien rifle. I might do another one a bit later on, I don't know. I'm just sort of making these poses up as I go along. Just things that I've seen on the internet from memory. As you can see in the background on my computer, there's a couple of pictures there. I will be using some of them. But there you go, that's that pose. And on to the next. Okay, I have a slight little switch around. What I've done is I've had her going for a pistol in a holster there, getting ready to rip it out and shoot whatever's coming up in front of her. I've just placed the alien rifle just resting behind her back. What I wanted to show was how much you can bend the actual arm. Again, I wouldn't advise keeping it like this for long because it does put a bit of a strain on the clothing and a little bit on the joints as well. And I've had her just sort of stepping forward one step. What would be a really good backdrop if you're very artistically minded is maybe put a picture in the detolf at the back of the detolf, of an explosion behind her, and she's just sort of walking away. She's just exploded something or detonated something and she's just casually walking away. I would love to do things like that in the future, but obviously you're going to be limited to what you can put in the detolfs. Detolfs are okay, but I don't think they're really ideal for showing huge collections, because you can put 4 or 5 figures on one shelf if you've got a lot of figures, and it just you lose the view really of all the other figures. You might see 1 or 2, but the rest are obscured. Obviously if you've got a lot of room and spare cash, you can buy quite a few detolfs, put them all around the room and have 2 figures on each shelf, which would be ideal. But if you're like me and you haven't got a lot of room, I'll show you my room. Just got two detolfs there full up and 1 detolf over there full up, and I've got no room for anything else. So I've got a TV and a bed in the middle, and right behind me where I'm sitting is the window and there's the cupboard. So I'm very limited with room. So what I would love to do really is get a bigger room and get a huge cabinet and just put them all in. But I'm digressing from what I'm showing you. Again, repeating myself, very simple pose. I'll now move on to poses with her pistols. So here it comes. Okay, here we have the first of the poses with the pistols. An action sort of pose. I've opened the legs up a little bit more. You are restricted a little bit with how much you can spread them open because of the suit. What I would advise, a lot of people when they put their figures in the cabinets, keep them in these sort of poses. Now I don't do that, and the reason I don't show them in the cabinet in these sort of extreme poses, I just normally show them standing with their arms down by the sides, or maybe a little bit of a pose put in there, is because I've found that with quite a few Hot Toys figures, over a period of time, if you keep the arm up like this, the joints tend to loosen a bit, they get a bit weak, and you find that the arms might start to drop down. You won't be able to hold the poses anymore, and also it does put a lot of strain on the clothing. You might not think so, but over time these will rip, or they might get loose, and it won't look as nice on the figure. So that is why when all my figures are in the detolfs, I don't keep them in extreme poses. A lot of people have commented on my videos when I do my updates. They say nice figures, but your posing isn't very good, you need to pose them up more. But that is the reason why I don't do it. I am going to start to pose them more when I do reviews of figures, but when I store them away in the detolfs, they will go back to normal boring old stances. So that's just something for people to think about as well. Yes, they do look good if you pose them up nicely in the detolf, but don't keep them like it for long. You will regret it in the long run. Just move it around a bit. I will have to get one of these turntables. I keep saying in videos that I'm going to be getting one, but I never get round to doing it. Anyway, on to the next. Here we have the most simplest of poses. Basically she's just standing, pistols crossed across her chest. But it could move you nicely on to another pose. Hopefully hands won't fall off. From that to maybe that sort of pose. Again, I wouldn't keep it too long because of the elbows could end up ripping eventually. But it's very simple to move just from one simple pose to another. Saves up a lot of time. And from there, if you really wanted to, because it's just a case of one real movement, is you can move the hands down. This isn't coming off very well. I might have to pause it, but you can. What I'll do is I'll pause it here and show you where you can move the hands down to. There you go. She's just putting them back in the holsters, or you can reverse it. She's pulling them out, move up to the hands up against her head and then cross her chest. Just three very simple, very fast sort of pose changes of poses. And we'll move on to the next. Here we have a very classic Black Widow type stancing pose. Again, very easy to do. Just twist the body slightly around the waist. Put one leg slightly in front of the other, as if she's posing like a model. Arms out down by her sides, slightly open. I would advise to get a different type of stand for this. This stand is no good. You might want to use maybe this stand with the ringed part, the ringed one that Hot Toys used to do, so you can actually clip it round her waist. Would be ideal for showing her like this. Again, very simple pose, but I think quite effective. Makes her look really sexy. Maybe you could undo the zip a little bit more, show off a bit of cleavage, but I don't like doing that on my figures when I've got them in the details. I might pose it on a video just for a bit of a laugh, as you've seen from some of my previous videos where I have done that. But I love this pose. So it's very, very simple, very easy to pull off, and doesn't put any strain on the suit or the joints, so it'd be ideal for showing her like this in your detail. Maybe having another one of the Avengers standing next to her or back to back with her would be brilliant. So on to the next. Okay, what I've done this pose for is to show you that you can bend the knees quite nicely. It doesn't look good, the bent knee, although it is a better body to actually get poses from, the body that's underneath the suit. It doesn't look quite right on the joints. I've straightened the leg out a little bit. Again, there is a lot of stretch here, quite a bit of strain on the suit, so don't keep it like this for long. Obviously no stand required. If you put her in a detail like this, you might want to lean this side up against the glass at the side to stop her from falling over. But again, quite simple. You can bend the knee a lot more. You can't really stretch this leg out much more than what it is. But it's just something different. If you didn't want to use a stand, you wanted to have a freestanding. You can have her head like that, or you can turn her head round to this side. Entirely up to you. But anyway, on to the next. Again, we have another action type pose. Guns twisted to the side slightly, like you see in a lot of action movies. Back leg out straight, and her right leg bent forward. Again, showing you a little bit of the bends of the suit on the elbows as well. I've just got two more poses to show you, and then we'll wrap it up. Here we have Black Widow flying through the air, possibly backwards, and shooting as she's going. Again, you might need a better, well, you definitely will need a better stand for this. I recommend the new Goblin type stand, or the ones that you do get with some of the Iron Men, the ones that you use for having them flying, or even the Superman one, if you own that. You can't really have the legs stretched out too much. I did try. You could probably twist the body slightly a little bit more around the waist to have it a little bit more angled, but it's quite a nice dramatic sort of pose. Didn't get this one off the net. I would expect there probably will be some pictures like this, similar to this, on the net, but it's just one that I've just thought of now, just thrown it together. Again, great pose to show off the figure. Just got one more pose to do, and that's with the alternate, well, maybe two more poses actually, to show off another one of her accessories. So we'll move on to that now.